Good morning, it's CryptoFit UK, November the 1st, which means it's going to be day one of my 100 press-ups and 30 sit-ups for the Teenage Cancer Trust and the Samaritans, which I have signed up with for the month of November. I'm recording this video in the morning, so the figures may be slightly out of date by the time that we get to the end of the day when I do the press ups, and I'll stitch it all together. But I wanted to start the day with my drive to work, as I always do, to create my content that gets 111 views, slowly crawls up the leaderboard as far as watch hours and subscriptions go. Good morning, everybody. Obviously none of this is financial advice. This is all my own opinions. Please do not have a bath with a toaster or an iron which is on the mains. First day of school back for some kids today. They've just had their October break. So I expect the roads to be a little bit busier than normal today. But yeah, can't wait. So Safu update. Safu update. Safu update is that we are now at 22,771,000, and that is of 8:10 GMT. So we're crawling up to the 23 million mark, quite nicely, I think. 23 million, wow. Let's just add that up. I mean, he did 3 million in pre-sales, 8 million in node sales, something like 11 million. He did 11 million at the in the Safu token phase. He's done 22,771. So let's just put that into perspective, people. That's 30 million that Brian Legend has pulled in, less what he's pulling in from all of these other projects that are going to be there. I've got a load of things to say today, and actually I've got one real big thing that I want to say, but I'm going to save it till a little bit later in the video. Right. As for the FUD still continues. I don't know why, I don't know how, but the FUD still continues, which I find amazing. But let me talk to you about Bitcoin just for a second. Actually, I'm going to say it now because it's in my head, and if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget. Let me talk about Bitcoin. I tell you what, the visibility and the accountability on Bitcoin is absolutely zero. There's no AMAs. I don't see Shakoti Nakamoto or whatever his name is come out on video. I don't even know whether he exists, because 100 million of the coins are his in a wallet somewhere. Everyone can see the wallet. Was it 100,000 coins? It's got 100,000 coins because there's only 21 million supplied of Bitcoin. Yeah. Anyway, that is crypto gold. That is, you know, it is 100% gold. You know, if pensions are securing their backing of the future on that, then everybody should be taking a huge interest into Bitcoin. Myself, I'm going to be playing around in the crypto markets now until I can't be bothered anymore. Until I think that I've got enough, which will take some time. Granted, I mean, I'm still heavily into the investment phase at the moment, but it's going to take me around about 5 years to actually 5 years and some really good luck to make sure that I get to where I need to be financially to start doing everything. And essentially, with the exception of SafuuX, anything that I'm making from other projects, I'm just going to lift up into put into Bitcoin or SafuuX, and then I'll start using Bitcoin as my pension, of which I know that I'm going to have to save somewhere between, in today's age, between 4 and 6 million UK, so that I can have a comfortable retirement. I don't think I'm going to get there quickly, but I'm going to get there consistently and gradually. But yeah, let's just talk about the fear of uncertainty and doubt, right? How many companies, how many DAOs, how many the transparency on this, on Safu and SafuuX, Brian Legend and his team is amazing. We don't get that on Bitcoin. We don't get that on half of the bloody cryptocurrencies that we can see that come out or have come out or anything else like that. All we've got at the moment is a few new ideas coming out at the moment and platforms to go on top of it. These CEXs that are coming on board with Safu and SafuuX, right? We should, and Brian already knows this, right? We should be encouraging every single developer to boost up Web3, in its entirety. We're at the birth of an absolutely brand new age with so much. It's unbelievable. And we can't discount it. We mustn't discount it. My hair's a mess today. It needs a cut. Right. Sorry for the interruption. My brain flits around from bits and pieces because I'm dyslexic. And part of that is that sometimes I will hold a conversation and be straight-faced in business and everything else like that, and all shout out, "Oh, there's a squirrel!" Yeah. So cryptocurrencies are built on a level of secrecy. Okay, so what that means is that Bitcoin didn't start with a bunch of people around a table. And I've been studying the history of all of the cryptocurrencies and Michael Saylor, and how he tried and failed the first attempt at cryptocurrency. Satoshi Nakamoto, if that is correct, he failed. He failed for about 4 or 5 years before people started thinking, actually, governments, let's not F them, Cryptocurrencies, in my humble opinion, are the perfect solution for the imperfect world. Could it take down governments? It probably could with mass adoption, but they would be one step ahead of us anyway. I mean, they would have all the money anyway. If the governments thought that had thought that there was a risk of economic collapse and stability within them, they would put an enormous amount of funds into these cryptocurrencies, meaning that before mass adoption. So all the treasuries on the planet would say, right, okay, we need to actually get on board with that. The Bank of England have already supported the fact that these cryptocurrencies exist. So has Joe Biden to a certain extent, but it's still not. It's not getting through Congress. I mean, Australia, they're looking into a bill for it as well. I don't know globally. India is also a place where they've got quite a high demand of cryptocurrencies. Their government's in tune with that. Obviously, China and Russia have banned mining, but I don't know whether they supply or whether they support cryptocurrencies in any particular way. My research on this project is overwhelming. As I'm working throughout my day, I listen to these sorts of videos to see where I am. I want to give a huge shout out to Cold Fusion, by the way. Cold Fusion, I will put a link up at the top. Cold Fusion, I hope he's from the UK. Because he's got a really nice English-speaking, calm voice. I don't think he's American. Love to meet you, Cold Fusion, because I have basically got the answers to some of my questions that you have fully answered, and I think that your channel's amazing. Cold Fusion, go and check it out. I love it. You should too, because it talks about banking collapse, and that's another passion of mine, is learning how all of these situations and how these banks have failed. Right? I love The Big Short. I love Margin Call. Any kind of financial films, or any kind of documentaries about how banks have failed. We've got Credit Suisse at the moment. They're taking a massive dive, at the moment. They're heading for bankruptcy very shortly, and that's a titan. And let's just have a look at Switzerland just for a second. I mean, they've had the air of neutrality for centuries. Neutral in World War One, neutral in World War Two, but don't you dare come on our land because we will kill you. And everybody said don't mess with the Swiss. So World War One, World War Two, their air of neutrality. But there you go. I mean, you've got the flip side on that, right? Because their air of neutrality means that they can do business with anybody, right? So Russian oil is still being sold on the open market today, by the millions of barrels, cheaper. Countries like India, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, they would buy it. I'm pretty sure that China wouldn't mind buying it, because I don't know what their supply levels are at. I digress a little bit, but it is important. We are heading for another banking collapse, and Credit Suisse is potentially going to be the start of the boom on it. But why should we, but moving on to my actual key point here, why should we as individuals, and this is the whole point of decentralized finance, why should the decentralized community pay for the normal banking system? I mean, essentially, cryptocurrencies were born out of stick it to the man, stick it to the government. People have become millionaires, some have become billionaires off the back of cryptocurrencies. So yeah, how much money do you really want to make in cryptocurrencies? I can fully see that cryptocurrencies could easily make anybody a millionaire right now, and I still think it's early. Right? I'm not saying that you can put £100 into a project or a system or a coin and then you'll say, you're going to be a millionaire. I doubt very much that will happen. But what I'm saying is, it could happen if you put £100 in every single week for the next 4 or 5 years, and you sat on it for a long time, and you moved it around, and you checked out the projects, you kept on top of everything else like that. There is no such thing as an hour's break in crypto. I'm sorry, it just doesn't exist. Trust and faith in a project and a protocol is exactly what we need. That's exactly what you've got with SafuuX, right? Brian Legend has invested for us an inordinate amount of sums of money to put it on there. The token price today was 172 today. It's appreciating still. I don't understand that. I mean, Safu shouldn't really be appreciating, but the token shouldn't really be appreciating, but it is. because in my opinion it won't really hit that scarcity value over the next 13 years. But people are still buying into it, so I don't know. I haven't checked the liquidity on that. I find it interesting. Do you think it'll go up to 30 quid? I really don't know. Yes, it could do. Is it likely? I don't know. It is interesting. You know, if that goes up to, say for example, if I put £100 in it now, there's no rebases, and it goes up to $4, I've doubled my money. So that is interesting. The whole concept is interesting. But we'll work on that. We'll look at that all together. So yeah, Bitcoin is completely anonymous. A load of the crypto markets are completely anonymous, right? You have to go to these World Blockchain Summits to actually get FaceTime with some of these people, not all of the people, right? And we've got Brian Legend and his team, like, literally sticking their neck out on the line, right? And my guy Easy, right, who has been a good friend of mine since we did our first video together, and shout out to Just Talking as well for being the second video. So yeah, come on. Cryptocurrencies by nature are anonymous. They're making people rich every single day. But the whole point of cryptocurrencies is saying F you to the government. We do not want our currencies being squashed by big banks. Your level of wealth is literally dependent on your ability to learn different things. As you may be aware, I owned a gym and a fitness academy. The likelihood is I'm going to get back. I can't talk about the legalities of everything because at the moment it's with the solicitors, but in all fairness, right, I'm going to have to be heavily compensated for what has gone on. I did a long video on my successes and failures, which I'll put up here. It is a long video, but it is actually worth listening to, simply because of the fact that, you know, if people have been wronged, there is a solution for it. It turns out that I still own a stupid amount of proportion of the assets that this gym is still running in. Although it has been liquidated partially, it hasn't been fully completed. So unfortunately for the new owner, who was my ex-business partner, he's heading for a shock, because he's going to have to cut me a check, or he's going to have to take on the debt, and I mean all of the debt, because I've got it under an IVA. So I've got my meeting with my solicitor a little bit later on, so I'm going to just I'm going to take that as an opportunity, and there's a few people I'm going to go for professional indemnity for, which unfortunately I'll win that too. I say unfortunately because this should never have happened. It should never have ever happened. But justice will be served legally through a court. It will take time, but we'll get there. We will get there. So my last point in closing is that just because we are showing face with Safuu and SafuuX doesn't mean that we are, you know, that's a good thing. That's a great thing that Safuu and SafuuX are showing face, right? People of fear of uncertainty and doubt, you know, they say, oh, you know, you're in SafuuX and you're in Safuu, you're following the sheep. No, you're not, because you probably have Bitcoin, you probably have Ethereum, right? You probably have AVAX, you probably have BNB. Out of everything, BNB with CZ, you know, Christ, BNB has huge, you know, that's huge, and the guy did it for all the right reasons. He thought it was an opportunity. Now he's a billionaire wearing t-shirts all day long. It's brilliant. Nobody's knocked on his door and said, oi, I don't think about the visibility. You know, he stands up in front of conferences. He stands up. There's videos. He's done cryptocurrencies for the right reasons, just as Brian Legend has, right? But he failed. You know, his story failed. Michael Sayers' story failed. So, you know, people assume that they are right and they get proved wrong the first time around. The second time around, you need to be careful of them, because they will then prove that they were right and succeed 10 times, 100 times more. So we've already got without Brian mentioned, and we're not going in that direction at all. But yeah, it is interesting. So yeah, with futures and currency markets and things like that, the currency markets are on the decline. And it's because I think the people in Congress and the people in higher power in finance and things, like the banks of certain countries, they are so interested into old money because old money always pays. It's the new money that has a question mark over the top of it. You know, everybody knows that they need to pay taxes, everybody knows they need to register their businesses and their interests. Alright? However, they don't. You know, in England, we pay 23% tax up to, you know, the high level rate. That's all well and good. You know, we're all out there to try and make a living for ourselves, you know, and we're all desperately trying to make sure that we do it properly and legally. So, I am going to do a separate video for the press-ups and sit-ups. I don't know how to prove the date and time, that's the only thing. Can YouTube, I might actually have to do it live. Might have to do it live, so that will prove the date and time. I'll do that when I get back this evening. Should finish a job today, should get all of that sorted and paid today, so I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, life is good. I have the next few jobs lined up and ready to go. I think my stepdaughter is coming down this weekend. Ex-wife is completely able, not really letting me see my kids at all, which is naughty. So yeah, that is it. Okay guys, in summary with all of this, Bitcoin isn't visible. Right, it doesn't have people talking about it. In fact, actually, it's down to the majority vote of the entire blockchain to see whether changes get pushed through. So there's no visibility. There's no Bitcoin boss at the top of it saying, "Oh, we're going to, you know, get involved with Decentrology," and yeah, believe me. Bitcoin has just been there as an option, and then people have had adoption into it. Right now, it's worth billions upon billions upon billions of pounds, and soon it'll be worth trillions and trillions and trillions of pounds. 197 trillion is the amount of world capital, you know, from all governments, etc., right? Controls all the markets, and we're all asking for a portion of it, right? By earning it from big banks and companies. And yeah. So, yeah. Where's the visibility on Bitcoin? Well, we've got visibility on Safuu, and yeah, everybody wants to complain about it. Why? Yeah. So that is Crypto Fit UK. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll do a live video tonight showing you the press ups. I'm a little bit concerned. I haven't done a press up in just a little bit over 18 months, but this actually might be the catalyst for me to actually get my body into shape. Like, share, subscribe. if you fancy buy me a coffee, I'd absolutely love that. You know, it helps. Those little donations actually make my day when I see people do that. So yeah, beautiful morning in the UK. Have a beautiful day. Whatever you do, whoever you do, have an amazing day. This is CryptoFit UK. Checking out.